Okay, that's quite a package. Let's break down those numbers a bit. That 20% tariff, it's lower than the 36% that was threatened back in April, right?
It is, yeah. And some reports said Chinese firms operating in Vietnam felt, well, maybe that 20% was manageable compared to 46.
But still, it's double the 10% that was actually in place just before this deal.
Exactly. It's still a significant hike. And then there's that 40% transshipment penalty you mentioned.
Yeah. How does that even work? How do you identify transshipped goods?
Well, that's the tricky part. There's a lot of ambiguity. Our sources suggest it's causing real concern because the threshold might be incredibly low. Like maybe even just 1% Chinese content could trigger that massive 40% tariff.
Wow. 1%. That sounds like a nightmare for companies trying to prove origin at customs.
It really does. It creates a huge compliance burden. And, beyond the immediate tariff costs, this deal really pushes to reshape global manufacturing. Well, think about it. It means higher costs for anyone importing from Vietnam into the US, and intense pressure, especially on Vietnamese industries that rely heavily on imported materials from China, textiles, garments, electronics.
Right, the big ones.
Yeah, companies like Apple, Samsung, they have huge operations in Vietnam. They might now face serious pressure to either localize production, more find Vietnamese suppliers, or shift their sourcing away from China entirely.
So it's pushing Vietnam further up the value chain almost.
In a way, yes. It aligns with Vietnam's longer-term goals, but under, let's say, considerable external pressure.
And the scale here is just mind-boggling. Vietnam exported something like, what, $137 billion to the U.S. just last year in 2024.
That's right, a massive figure.
So our sources are saying these tariffs could, long-term, maybe cut 25% of those exports. That's a huge hit, potentially over 2% of Vietnam's entire GDP.
It's a significant risk for them, absolutely.